What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Saturday, January 25th. It's the last Saturday of the month. So that means it is Sound Off Saturday. For those who are unaware what Sound Off Saturday is, it's basically the one day a month that I allow people to come up and sound off on a minimum, well, actually a maximum of 2 sound offs. Now, usually I would bring up the buzzer, but because it's Sound Off Saturday and it's only 2, I won't use the buzzer today, but don't go over 2. Do not overstay your welcome. So make sure that the 2 that you want to sound off on are some good ones. But before we get into all of that, I'm glad that everybody is here. If you haven't done so already, be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. The StreamYard link is pinned at the top. That way I won't have to continuously post it over and over again. So if you want to come up and you want something you want to sound off on, it could be something we've already talked about, or it could be something that we haven't talked about. It's up to you. But remember, you only have a maximum of 2. Before we get into all that, shout out to everybody that's in here. Let's see, WloJ, Reparations Nations, Dimple Face, Miss Nisi. I almost shouted out myself. Black Spider, Brother Man to You, Dewani, Robert Brown, Inspired Truth Broadcast, Don P, Cosma Fury, OG, and Hassan. All right, looks like I already have 2 people here so far. Okay, the first person we're going to be bringing up is WloJ. What's going on?
I had to get away from Kid's live stream because he's on talking shit to the trolls, so I had to get away from him. No disrespect, Kid, but yeah. No disrespect to him, but yeah. I want to say one topic. I want to shout out Miss Lisa, True Roy, and LVZ for what they did yesterday on their live with this stuff. So if anybody needs to go listen to a good live, go listen to Miss Lisa Cabrera, please. They broke down some stuff and gave some wisdom to the family. And second of all, I hate dumb people, Torian. I can't stand dumb people. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is today. I just can't stay. I can't deal with dumb people today.
Did something happen?
No, just people just stupid. Well, KG live. I can't stand stupid people.
Okay. Are you talking about people, the trolls in the chat?
Yes, that's why I went crazy. I had to go Miss Nixie mode.
Yeah, I saw you. You was you was in sniper mode. Like every time I look up, it was like, oh, this person timed out for 86,000 seconds by WloJ. Oh, this person's comment was hitting by WloJ. Like you must have hit it like 10 times.
I was on my Miss Nixie grind today. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done with it on 2025. Everybody, I'm done with stupid people. If I can't hit you, I can do something else to you. Not like that, but let me land my plane there.
All right. Shout out to WloJ for coming up again. If anybody would like to come up and sound off on anything, remember there is a 2 max. I'm not pulling out the buzzer today because it's only 2 things. You can go ahead and click the link right there at the top and come on up. I usually try to keep this going for about an hour or for as long as people want to come up, but I try to keep it condensed to an hour. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Some people don't want to click the link when it's just a freestyling thing, but when it comes to these other topics, y'all be ready to roll. All right, let's go ahead and bring Cosma up here. What's going on?
Hey man, good afternoon.
I'm doing good.
Hey, good. Same here too. I just built a whole new closet out for my studio.
Nope.
Yeah, you use the Target hack. You use the bookshelves and it's a place you can hack it into like the a closet. But anyway, you know what I'm about to say because I sent you it earlier on X.
When I saw you come up, I said I wonder if one of the things that Cosmo was going to talk about was that.
Yes. DJ Academics, get your ass to the front of the congregation, man. I don't care if you calling it trolling. Like, no, bruh. What are you like? I can't believe there's people in the comment section of these posts defending it. Like, this is the generation. This is Gen Z today, y'all. And no offense to the Gen Z who got sense, but this is your counterparts defending this nonsense. Something got to give. People think I'm just some old dude, some young Gen Xer that's just hating on everybody. No. I got cousins of all age ranges, and we get along fine because they got sense.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on today?
But for you, but like, can you, without going into complete and utter detail about it, because it is a lot. That's what I'm trying to see. Like, if I do talk about it, how would I talk about that? Because that's one of them things. It's like you want to not go all in, but you kind of want to because of what it is and who it's involving, but without going all the way there.
Oh, it's
Can
not nothing explicit.
can you give the audience, for those who don't know what you're talking about? I mean, they hear the name academics, they know who that is, but they may not have any idea of what you're referring to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ack was in a forum with a few other people, and this kid called Nor XD, I believe his name is. He's 15 years old. He is the main moderator to Black Boy Max. I don't know who he is, but I think he's another big streamer too.
He's
Uh,
a streamer.
so what happened is that um they allegedly said that Nord was feeling down, so they said they're going to send one of the people that wasn't Ack yet, implied that he was going to send exotic entertainment to the boy's house. And the boy, 15, said, "Look, are you trying to really get me hemmed up in some kind of case? I'm only 15." The boy had sense.
Hmm.
And then Ack was like, "Oh, you telling me at 15, like him and others was like, you telling me at 15 you weren't smashing anything?" He was like, what y'all talking about?" He started laughing. The kid was laughing because he basically was flustered. So, um, Ack was like, what about Black Boy Mac's sister? He was like, "Did you try? Would you smash that?" He was like, no, she's older than me. She's over 18. He's like, "So what? What that mean? What that mean?" Like, and they said, Act tried to say that was trolling. They was just trolling the kid. I was like, you don't. There's just certain things you don't joke with children about.
Yeah. And then they had released another. I don't know if you saw it. Maybe you did. But then they had put out another video where he was quote unquote trying to clear up what was said or try to
Yeah, I
give
sent it
context.
to you.
And then, okay,
Hmm.
okay, that was that video. You know, it was that video because the other video was underneath it. And he tried to say, well, whatever he said in there, I think it was involving, like, they was talking about they were sending him gifts and money and stuff like that. I said that doesn't make it sound any better because that's all a part of the grooming process.
They said strippers at first.
Okay, yeah. So it's like your context or your further explanation of trying to clear yourself, it didn't make you look any better in any kind of light whatsoever.
And it's Ack and others that were doing that to the kid, not just Ack.
Hmm.
So that goes back to what you said. Like, no wonder he's so cool with Aubrey. And what did Kendrick say in Not Like Us? Predators move in flocks.
Hmm.
So that was one of the things I wanted to sound off on. And I just one last thing, and it's the second one. I'm done. Um, I'm still I'm still not I'm still not letting this Drake situation go with UMG. But UMG ain't playing Torian. Did you see what they sent back to him? 120. They like, you got 81 page, you got 122 page. They ready for war. And you know what? Honestly, I might ruffle a few feathers here. I feel like Drake deserves this. I really
I
think
don't.
he do.
Oh, trust and believe me. Over here, I don't think you ruffled that many feathers. If there were any feathers to be ruffled, considering like we already see, like he already showed his hand. I mean, my
Exactly.
goodness, let's take the L, wave the white flag, do something, but he couldn't let it go, and he just made it worse for himself. But hey, it is what it is. That's his life, not mine.
Yep, with that and that rack flow. How he the GOAT? Do you consider him one of the greatest rappers of all time?
Even if I was born as a Gen Z or even Gen Alpha, no, I would not consider him one of the GOATs because I know that I would have some sense and fortitude to know who the GOATs are. And he wouldn't even be in my top 20.
This is his flow, Torian. This is his flow. He just go to a rhyme scheme. He just go to rhyming words. He's like, I hit you with the left, give you a fainting sensation. Janet Jackson had a song called Rhythm Nation. I had the song called Tootsie Slide. It's a dance sensation. That's all he does. And that's what I'll play. Thanks for having me up, man.
No problem. No problem. All right. Shout out to Cosma for coming up again. If anybody else would like to come up, like I said, this is Sound Off Saturday. You can click the link and come up. It is a 2 sound off maximum. All right. Oh, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what that means. Her sweeping up to the stage. Hurricane Nisi. What's going on?
Good afternoon, Tori, and good afternoon, family in the chat. I want to go back to your subject matter from last night.
Okay.
Now I gave my role play on meth head Karen. I want to address the Jenkins, the black couple,
Uh-huh.
during the Shannon Sharp interview. This is just my opinion. The gentleman, I think his name was DeMichael.
Yeah.
I, as he was speaking, I'm like, why would you have, why would you leave your wife outside alone? I mean, scared or not, you stand by your wife. Am I wrong?
No.
And it's, 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 I don't know what it is. I really can't say because I've always been comfortable around my people. Now, you know, I live in West Virginia. The neighborhood I live in is pretty mixed. You know, we got a few black families, few white families. My next door neighbors are white, and we have an excellent rapport, but that's not the norm for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I can say truthfully, I never had any bad neighbors. But then what was the word you used for me the other day? An anomaly? I don't think I'm an anomaly. I just speak my mind. You know, I let people know where I stand. I treat you the way I want to be treated. You get out of line with me, I'll check you. The end.
Exactly.
So, and my next point, well, my next subject, should I say, I'm telling my age. I'm 60. I'm a late boomer, 1964. I get lost in these translations with these generations. At the millennials, I'm lost.
Yeah. So basically, you don't. Do you know what the generation is after millennials?
No.
That's Gen Z.
Okay, well, my son was born in 1992. What is he?
He's a millennial.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think millennial started in like and people who really know their generations can help me out in the chat with the dates. But I think millennials started in I think 1981. I want to say 81, and it runs into like 1996 if I'm not mistaken. So I was born in 89, so I was born like smack in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
it. So yeah, millennial I think is from 81 to I think 96, and then Gen Z is from like 97 to I think 2010 ish. I think that might be where Gen Z is, somewhere right there. And then everything after that, this new generation right here that's born in like 2011 now is like called Gen Alpha. So now they're going back over through the alphabets because you know the boomer generation was considered to be I guess you could say if you wanted to do it by letter, that would be considered W, and then Gen X. Of course, you know about Gen X. That's after you, and then Gen Y or millennials is me. Then Gen Z is after me, and now it's about to go back to A, which is Gen Alpha. So that means the next generation is going to be a B letter.
Well, I heard what you said. I don't know if I comprehended after Gen X, so it don't matter. I'm just old.
You're just wise.
No, I have lived my life. I have seen some stuff and I have experienced some stuff. That's all. Just because I'm old, I'm still learning. We are supposed to be forever learning, are we not?
Of course, you never stop learning.
Mm-hmm. And right now is a glorious time for foundational Black Americans. The veil has been removed. No more living in la la land.
Oh,
You
definitely.
have to accept what is, not the way you want it to be.
Exactly.
We may never see that in our lifetime, but foundational Black Americans, lineage-based reparation movement We stand strong. We all we got. And I land there.
Appreciate you coming up.
No problem. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to Hurricane Nisi for coming in and dropping her 2 cents. Again, the link is pinned at the top. If y'all want to come up and just sound off on anything, again, it is a 2 sound off maximum. Feel free to do so. This is just a natural, just a regular conversation. I feel like I'm just talking with family right now. There's no set topic. We just talking, and as you can see, there is no timer today. So y'all don't have to beat the buzzer today. Because like I said, it's only a 2 topic maximum. I'm sorry. All right, next up we got Xavier. What's going on?
Hey, Brother Torian. Salute to you, sir.
Salute to you.
I add a V1 to you and everyone in the chat. I've been missing out on a lot of your lives. It's been a bit crazy out here, but I got the. I just wanted to sound off on like one or two things. The first one was the one about the Assassin's Creed thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really funny. I was really sad that I missed that one because I was like, man, this was right up my alley because I've always been a fan of Assassin's Creed, even though I haven't really finished most of the recent ones like the from Origins down, but it's always been a thing. Like, and so I was when they announced the Yasuke character being in the game, I was like, yeah, I know the usual suspects are going to sound off on this one for sure. And sure enough, they showed their true colors. Literally, like they were just saying, "Oh, uh, like they try to they tell on themselves a lot. Like you always point out, they always tell on themselves like they tell you that oh they're not racist, but and everything following a but is always shit. So it's like
Exactly.
everything following a but is always shit. So they're like, oh, we're not racist, but Yasuke was not a samurai. He was a servant, conveniently because he's black. So of course he has to be a servant. He's not like a high class person. And I'm like, you do? Are you hearing yourself? Like you have to be.
Yeah,
You can't
it's
not
crazy.
be hearing this.
And it's crazy because they keep calling it a DEI thing and everything like that. I'm like, y'all keep telling on yourselves when y'all say that, but okay, fine, whatever. And this thing is like, yeah, they treat it like the Yasuke character in this game was a character that they created for this game. I'm like, no, he was a person that actually existed. He was a real person.
Yeah.
If anything, the person that's created for this game is the Asian female character. She didn't exist outside of this game, at least not in a historical sense of reality. But
Yeah,
the
she's the
Yasuke
made up
character
one. Yeah.
actually was a real person.
hmm and that's crazy because they keep telling how the quote unquote blackwashing of Hollywood or media is happening and how don't turn our white character, historically white characters black and all that. So here's a historically black character that you're getting and you're still complaining. So there's no pleasing these people. And
Yeah, and just
honestly, I
imagine,
kind of have. Yeah,
and
sorry,
just
go on.
imagine. I'm sure you heard of the show Shogun, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Can you
Exactly.
imagine? Can you imagine if they was to insert the Yasuke character in one of these seasons of Shogun? Because because I
I
don't know,
know.
because I never watched Shogun, so I don't know where in the timeline the show takes place. But I'm just hypothetically saying, if they found a way to insert the Yasuke character in there somewhere, they would lose their minds. They would be saying,
Oh, for
"Oh,
sure.
I'm not." And for those who watch the show, who probably say, "Oh, I'm not watching this show no more. It's woke now. It's
I
DEI.
know.
Why did they have to throw him in there? Oh, he's a diversity hire. Oh, they had to fill a quota." I'm like, "Oh my
Which is
god."
crazy. Which is crazy. And I'm like, that's a good point you just brought up because that these guys they're only cool when it's them folks that play because if you think about it, I think Shogun is also like it's a made up story, but it's about like a white. I think
It's
it's
an
about a
adapted
white
story.
man in what?
It's actually an adapted story. I actually found out that the show Shogun is actually not an original show. It's actually based off of I want to
An old
say
TV show.
an old
Yeah.
TV show from back in like the 70s, I think.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
about that too. But I mean, the show itself was based on a novel, if I'm not mistaken. So
Okay.
it's not even history. It's not it's not a historical event, but it's just and then they have no problem with the white man going around in ancient Japan or China, wherever, and and doing stuff. But once it's a black person, it's like, no, you don't have to. Like, why am I seeing black people in this thing that I like? It's crazy. They forget that a lot of these companies, and again, sorry, the Ubisoft thing, right? I mean, the Assassin's Creed thing, right? It's kind of annoying because Ubisoft has their own. I have my issues with Ubisoft as a company, like the games that they're making. And these guys are actually forcing me to defend Ubisoft, but Ubisoft is actually not doing the kind of stuff that they used to do back in the day. So it's just ridiculous. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say about that. And then sorry, the second thing was the what was that? The guy, I think, I don't know if you did a live on this one, the one with the couple that was the white lady that
Oh,
was
I did that.
screaming
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I did that. I did that live yesterday.
oh, yesterday, yeah. See, I missed that one too. It was, but that really pissed me off. Like, it was funny to see her act a fool like that, but it pissed me off in the sense that the white lady tears came out as they usually do and tried to make her look like the victim when she could have very easily caused this man to lose his life at the hands of police officers if they had responded to
If,
that thing.
if anything, yesterday when we was doing the live, we was clowning her so-called apology, which really wasn't even an apology. We was laughing
Nah,
at her
I was.
because she was trying to force them tears out and all types of stuff.
Mhm.
She kept trying to, like you said, she kept trying to make herself sound like a victim. I don't think anybody who saw what transpired or go down is looking at her like she's the victim. I haven't seen her.
No, definitely
You know,
not.
you know what?
Uh,
You know what? I take that back. There is one faker, and I actually
uh-oh.
meant to screenshot the title of his video and insert it into the live yesterday. I think I did, but I forgot where I put it at. And he
Oh.
basically was up there trying to defend it, but his chat or his comment section, they was clowning him as they should.
I mean, like, is there no white woman that this man won't wear a cape for? Like, he
Oh
is
no.
just like a clown. He's a proper clown,
He
and
reminds
and it's
he
sad.
reminds me of that. He reminds me of that Calvin Ellis meme, the black Superman holding the white woman. That's that's what he reminds me of.
Like, it's so annoying because again, you can clearly see that this woman was like, I don't even know why. First off, no one was even asking this question. Why is she walking around in the dark with two young children, and then pretending like, oh, someone is coming to attack her? It just seemed like she planned this whole thing out in her head that she was going
Mhm,
to do this particular thing. Maybe she didn't like her neighbor or whatever. Because
mhm.
again, you're carrying two children walking around at night without no, you're not in a car, and then you're now telling your children to run. Is it? And then she lies about how she didn't know that it was a black guy. She thought it was a white guy. Get out of here! Are you kidding me? That's such a phony. I'm sorry, but anybody buying that has to be an idiot. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make any sense. And then the non apology. It's like she's saying one thing with her mouth, but we can see on her face that she's not remorseful at all. And if you notice, she didn't take any responsibility for that. All she did was say, "Oh, I was scared. I've never been that scared in my life." I'm like, bro, the guy that you were trying to make look like a monster should have been the one being scared because as a black person, you know what's going to happen, what could possibly happen if cops showed up on this type of foolishness. They wouldn't even like you should first ask questions later type of thing. And it's really annoying. And the last thing I'll say is this. I'm glad that the couple didn't accept her non apology.
Yeah, that's
That
what I say
that brought
too. That's what I said,
That
and
was
that's
that was very refreshing because,
that.
bro, like with all due disrespect, fuck you and fuck your apology because it's not. I don't need that. You put my life in danger. You put my wife's life in danger. No, fuck you. You can take that and shove it where the sun don't shine. Because why you did that knowing full well what kind of country you're living in, and you decided to do all that nonsense. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous. But let it have been the other way around. Let it have been
Yeah,
the other way around. It would have been a problem. It would have been a problem. Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, the super last thing. Remember the time when that young boy, the young brother that he got shot in the face when he went to knock on a white neighbor's door,
oh yeah, yep.
and then
Hmm.
he walked down
Luckily,
the
luckily
street.
luckily he survived.
Yeah, he survived. But
He
I'm
was
saying,
lucky
like,
he survived.
what got me in that particular case was, and why it reminded me so much of this one is that this boy had to walk to the next with the gunshot wound to his face, walk to the next door, and the neighbor, also a white person, made him sit outside on the porch with gunshot wounds until
Yeah,
the
because
cops arrived.
he was looking for his brother. I remember that he was looking for his
It was crazy.
brother. Yeah, and the neighbor had
So,
shot him, and it was an old white guy too. Like yeah, that was a wild story.
it was really wild, and why I brought it up is because like this one, I mean, obviously the roles were reversed. This woman didn't have to fear for her life knocking on a black family's door. The black family was not going to do anything to her, but we can't do that same, take that same liberty. We don't have that same freedom. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I'm sorry. I've rambled on enough. I want so someone else can come up. But thank you so much for letting me speak. And Happy New Year once again to everyone, to the B1 family, and B1 to you.
All right, shout out to Xavier for coming up. Next up, we have Maya. What's going on?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for taking my call. This is my first time calling in. I've listened to you for a number of years, but I don't know why I never called in.
Okay.
But yeah, I would like to pick up on one of the previous callers, the female caller. Was
Okay.
she Miss Nisi? Was that
Yeah, yeah, Miss Nisa. Yes.
Miss Nisi? Yeah. And the reason why I really wanted to speak to her and expand on what she talked about is that we're around the same age. I'm Generation X. I'm a I'm a year younger than she is. So actually, Miss Nisi and I were right on the bubble between the young baby boomers and the elder Gen X, that
Okay.
that cohort. But I just wanted to say that I wanted to give you all a piece of mind of the older generation or the elders. Not all, but many of us, we are very um, unsettled. That's the word about what is going on with our younger generation, particularly millennials, Gen Z. And for many of us, Gen X and the younger baby boomers, we are not pleased with how our elder generational cohort, how they dropped the ball in terms of advancing civil rights. The baby boomers, in many ways, they settled for crumbs instead of fighting for the economic pie that we deserve. In my opinion, the millennial generation, this should be the first generation of strong black black entrepreneurs and a financially secure cohort. But instead, we're still economic dependents. And that bothers me. And many of us, we see it And we don't want to pass on a legacy of poverty and dependency for our grandchildren. And so I just want to let those of you know who are listening that there are elders out there who are truly concerned about it. And what I would like to invite all of you all to do is it's I know how tempting it is to opt out of the electoral system, but we really must force a change with the Congressional Black Caucus. If you look at the Congressional Black Caucus, you will notice two factors that's really holding us back from being economically prosperous. Number one, many of those office holders have been in their seats for well over 30 years. Maxine Walters, Jim Clyburn, these people, they need to go. They've had their time. They're in their 80s. It's not necessarily their age, but it's time to get new blood in there. Also, not only is it age, but many of them have been in there for 25 to 30 years. They need to go. So I just would like people who are who are at the millennial age to really start pointing their ire at our political representatives, because that's why we're not advancing and why we're not getting full citizenship participation in this country. So that's really all I have, unless you have a question for me.
No, that was it. This is the time where I let people come up and say what they got to say.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to Maya for coming up. And Mimi, the link is pinned at the top of the chat. So if you want to come up, just click the link and you'll be in the queue. And when you come up, you'll know. I'll bring you up. All right. Next, we got Skywalker. What's going on?
What's up, Tanya? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year soon.
So have you watched Lisa's channel lately?
Have I watched whose channel?
Sister Lisa.
Yes.
And the video the live that she did on Trump and civil rights and stuff,
and
how he's trying to take that away. And I just wanted to expound on that and say that, don't you think that it's odd that he's fixated on civil rights? Don't you find that kind of odd don't you find that just kind of weird?
I think right now they only put that out there as an idea of what they want or plan or want to do, but I don't think it's going to go all the way through. I was actually listening to Kid Gravity's live, and some people was questioning about that in the chat. And the thing is, if they were to quote unquote gut civil rights, then that's going to affect people across the board, not just black people. They're trying to get black people at any corner that they possibly can. They tried it with affirmative action. They tried it again with DEI, and that's not working. So let's see if we can go for something that looks like it's really for black people, and then go, with that. So they can try that, but they're again going to only hurt themselves in the end, much like they did with DEI and affirmative action.
Yeah, in the end, I just had this feeling in my soul that this time around, his administration is not going to go so well. I just had that kind of feeling in my soul, because the way that it started off was kind of odd with that, especially considering his so-called inauguration, which I found which was kind of off, because considering how he was sworn in, and that it didn't really seem like nobody cared, if you know what I mean. So what did
Go ahead.
What did you think about the inauguration?
It is what it is. I didn't have no really feeling about it one way or another. It was actually pretty boring, considering that most
Yeah,
inaugurations are
that's what
usually
you wrote. That's
outside.
what
But
you wrote because
that's what it to me. That's
that's
what it
what
was. It was
Royal
boring.
said because they were they were clowning. Her and Lisa were clowning, were just making fun of it,
Yeah.
and that's all I wanted to say because
Uh,
I gotta get
all right. All right. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming up. Before I bring up the next person, let me get to this super chat. Ozzy for the 10. Shout out to you. He said, and the irony is that most of the members of the CBC are tethers. Can't even argue that. They busy doing things for all these other groups, but then put black people, the people they supposed to represent, on the back burner. All right, Mimi, you are up next.
Hey, what's going on, Chad? Hi, Torian.
What's going on?
I just wanted to kind of add to what not the last gentleman, but I think the gentleman before him was talking about the lady, that woman who was walking outside with her kids in the dark and stuff, and then tried to say that some black man was doing something to her or chasing her. Yeah, that was horrible. Something like that happened to me here at my neighbor's. My neighbor did something like that to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, seriously. They sent their children over to play on my wood pile, right? And when I sent the kids home and I told them, no, you can't play here, the woman comes outside screaming and hollering, jumps in my face, spat on me. I bear sprayed her. And don't you know that this lady went in the house and exposed her grandchildren to the bear spray and told the cops I did it?
See, this is exactly why
I got arrested too.
This is exactly why I always tell people they are their clansesters.
They definitely are. They are. No. Yeah, and I was in my yard. I was in my own backyard, and the cop told me my only duty is to flee. I have to go to court on February 3rd regarding that.
So this recently happened.
Yeah, this just happened like 2 months ago.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I hope you win your case.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna win it. I got, I'm pretty smart, so I can pretty wash all that up, and I have a witness, so I'm not. But I just wanted to share that.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Shout out to Mimi for coming up and sharing that story. See, and like I said, this goes back to why I always say they are their clansesters. There's a story right there. Because I always tell people, spitting on someone, that is like the highest form of disrespect, and that's considered biological warfare. Because you don't know what people might have, and and just the thought of it and the imagery is just, listen. If you spit on me, like if you do you pull it up from the diaphragm and it regurgitates out of your mouth, you know how they say, may God have mercy on your soul? That's going to apply to you that day. Because I don't even know what I'm going to do. But hopefully, Mimi, you win your case. But thank you for sharing that story. I'm glad we got a real world story right there. But if anyone else would like to come up, you can go ahead and click the link if you haven't come up already to speak. Shout out to those who have spoken so far. I'm trying to keep this going until at least 1 o'clock. If people don't come up at least by 12:50, then I'm gonna just go ahead and shut it down. Terry said that's an assault. Yeah, that is assault. Spitting on someone is a form of assault. That is a form of assault. But yeah, spitting on someone is definitely a form of assault. Not only, Mimi, do I hope you win your case, but I hope you get compensated. Remember, pain and suffering. I don't care if you have to act out. Pain and suffering. That's all that matters. Oh, Hurricane Nisi done swept back up to the board.
Yeah, gotta help my baby. You my baby. Anywho, total subject change. Now, I'm sure you've seen it. Season 4 of Raising Kanan.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I forgot. You know what? I should have brought that up to you sooner, but I wanted you to get your 2 out there, but I forgot to mention that too. But yes, I did see that. Yes, season 2 of Raising Kanan. They officially dropped the release date announcement, March 7th, 2025.
But they were so wrong. After book 2 Ghost ended, they said coming this winter. March, we think spring. That ain't winter.
Yeah. Well, I guess they probably saying like see, that's the thing. Whenever they say something is coming out in a season and they don't say which month, then it's like, okay, what does that mean? Is that, in this case for winter, is that December? Is that January, February? We're gonna always think of those 3 months. We usually don't think of March, but see, technically, spring doesn't happen until March 20th. So technically, it's still winter. It's just late winter, and it's going into that transitional period of going from winter to spring.
Well, again, let me offer my opinion. Stars is taking their foundational Black American support for granted. Notice how they mess around with our shows, but they put them other fart shows on, i.e. Slob Joe.
Who show?
Slob Joe. He had some show on Stars for a minute, never watched it.
What show?
I told you I never watched it.
No, you're not picking up when I'm throwing down, Miss Nisi. What show?
Oh.
That show doesn't exist to me. Like, that's why I said what show.
Gotcha. But anywho, hopefully somebody else come up here. See, I'm gonna spit this. I gotta admit this. When I was in high school, this is no lie. You know how they have best dress and class clown, in the yearbook?
Yeah. The superlatives.
Yeah. Yes. No lie. My class of 1982, excuse me, voted me unanimously most talkative. I beat nobody.
Wow. Somehow I can believe it. All right, Ms. Izzy, some people that actually just did come up, actually.
I'm dropping off.
All right, appreciate you coming up.
Bye-bye.
All right, next that we got Just Us. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I guess I just want to sound off and state that I find it interesting now that Trump is in office, how all of a sudden people want to, let me not say people, Hispanics who are undocumented, all of a sudden want to have a black and brown coalition.
Oh, yes. Please speak on that. Because
okay,
because I saw a couple of videos literally this morning, like literally a couple of hours ago on someone's channel talking about what you're about to talk about. But I'm going to let you go ahead and go off on it.
Okay, bro. So I'm currently in Middlesex County, New Jersey. Okay, as you know, New Jersey is a blue state next to New York. And there are a lot of Mexicans here, a lot of undocumented Mexicans. They sleep underneath the train trestle on Townsend Street. They sleeping on the library stairs. They sleeping on the train station platforms. Long story short, these last 4 years, and even a little longer than that, they couldn't stand black people. They didn't fuck with us. Excuse my mouth. They didn't mess with us. And now all of a sudden I'm seeing that, mi amigo. I'm like, yo, really? Really?
Amazing how those tables have turned. But yes, I have, like I said, I've seen some videos on social media, mainly on Twitter, where they were sitting up there talking up there trying to cop pleas and whatnot. I'm like, no, that's not about to happen. You drew your line in the sand a long time ago, before this was even a topic of discussion. You already let it be known what side of the track you was on. You gonna stay over there. We not helping you. We drawn our own line in the sand and we doing our own thing. They said delineation is a good thing, and I agree. Now y'all can delineate yourselves back across that border.
Facts, because I'm like, at this point, for any foundational Black American, if you have a bleeding heart, then my only question to you is, where was that bleeding heart for your people? Because it seems far too often that foundational Black Americans, I am one myself, we have so much sympathy and empathy and kindness for others, but we don't show half of that sympathy, empathy, and kindness for our own. So my thing is, before you start crying and saving the children, what about your cousin's children that you can't stand? What about your brother's children that you don't mess with his baby mama? Like, let's keep it a buck. We go hard on each other. So let's stop that. Let's stop 2025. Let's put our bickering aside and move forward with Black empowerment. That's all I have to say, brother. B1.
Appreciate it. B1. All right, Ms. Nisa, you said highlight this comment. 866-347-2423. I'm a little confused. What is that? What is that for? I need some context. Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't catch. You know what? I didn't catch it. Okay, because I was looking at him like, why do I see an ice emoji with a snowflake? And okay, so this is the ICE hotline, y'all. 866-347-2423. Or as Don P has it, 866-DHS, or the Department of Homeland Security, the number 2 in ICE. Okay, now I get it. All right, next up, we got Joseph. What's going on?
Salutarian, salute to the chat room. I just saw that you are on for Sound Off Saturdays, and I forgot that this is the last Saturday of the month because next week is the 1st of February.
I'm going to be honest with you. I almost forgot too, because I'm going to tell you something. The live that I did yesterday, I was going to do today, and I had to look at, because I wasn't going to do a live on Thursday. That's why y'all got a live on Thursday. So what I had to do was I had to shift everything backwards just to make sure I had this in there for today. Otherwise, the live y'all got yesterday would have happened tomorrow or Monday at the very latest.
Understood. I'm really up here to share something I remember from Tariq's podcast. He had someone up on stage, and she was going over I think it was the Chinese zodiac calendar, and it being the year of the snake. And the one thing she said that stood out to me was, because this is the year of the snake, everyone that was in that chat room, she was saying, Black people going forward, do not let the serpent know your plan. You know what I got from that? Remain on code and move in silence. I was like, you know what? Out of everything I missed from her saying that stuck out to me, and is like, you know what? Seeing what's going on now with these raids and ICE, like, doing what ICE does best. It's like, and these other groups saying, hey, this is affecting you too. It's like, it's really just a regular day for us. It's almost like what's going on with them, we're on the other side of the mirror, just doing our regular thing as if, nothing has really changed. And another thing too, is like, to all the other groups listening, we warned you years ago. And it's like we warned y'all really since time immemorial, really since the civil rights acts have passed, and now that it's being gutted because it has been so saturated with so much word salad, and it wasn't specifically lineage based for us. It's like, you know what? The reset button has been too long, and now it's like it is so necessary for us to like start from scratch because we still wear the bruises and reap none of the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not gonna put our capes on, get more bruises to where we can't walk, and you go back to getting benefits. It's like, and shout outs to the Black Authority. He said it best. If we all can't be equally comfortable, then we'll all be equally uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Exactly.
So yeah, I'm gonna start marking like every last Saturday of 2025 as sound off Saturdays, if not for myself, because again, it's like so much has happened, and given off topic, you think the groundhog is gonna show a shadow this year?
I hope not. I'm ready for winter to be over because this has been. And the thing is, it's kind of crazy because I actually told people that I believe that 2020, at least in my area, that 2025 was going to be a huge winter because we haven't had one in so long. And usually, when we have mild winters consecutively like that, when the real winter hits, it's going to hit. And this definitely has been a real winter because a couple weeks ago we got hit with snow. Then literally the weekend of the inauguration, we got hit with more snow. Not as much as the 2 weeks before, but also it's just been very, very cold. Like, I mean, deathly cold. I'm talking about it would get as low as it being in the single digits at night. Like, that is very cold. So I hope that they don't show that groundhog doesn't show a shadow, but we can say that, but then they'll always find a way to find that little rodent out there in the
Oh
woods.
boy, man. Anyway, I just wanted to come up. I didn't want to miss this live. And again, thanks for always having me up whenever I could show up.
All right,
I'm
no
gonna stay
problem.
locked into the chat room.
All right, B1. All right, shout out to Joseph. Next up, we got the mayor. What's going on?
Hey, B1, peace to the family, peace to the chat. My sound off is these goddamn tethers. So I don't know if the B1 family is aware, but Sonetta had a live stream yesterday where you had a panel full of mainly tethers that was talking about FBA, talking about we divisive and we ain't doing nothing. We just dividing up our people more.
Doesn't that sound like the usual suspect when they say divisive?
Yeah. And it's like, first of all, y'all act like we was unified. We ain't never been unified. Second of all, this scan Africanism been a one-sided affair with FBA being the ones championing it, and the rest of y'all just sitting on the sidelines like the Latinos was sitting on the sidelines during the civil rights movement until they got some kind of benefit from it. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson for giving us this information. That they sat on the sidelines until they got some kind of benefit from it with the minority. Them days are over. A lot of these people, they just hating on Tariq for whatever reason, and they trying to take it out on the whole lineage. Oh my God. So only one person on the panel, Cube, outside the Cube, he's like the only one that was making any kind of sense. The rest of them people on there was just babbling, plebiscite babbling, talking about we all the same, our struggles are the same, and all of that Democratic talking point nonsense. We're not going for it no more. Well, what has FBA done? First of all, we brought the Democrats to their knees. These same people that was voting blue, no matter who, was on that scan Africanism. Oh, we need to all go back to Africa. Africa's our homeland and all of that shit. And these people ain't even left their damn city block, let alone their city, let alone their state, let alone the country. Then we got these mothers upset because Kamala lost. I don't give a damn. I'm glad that broad lost. She did not represent our best interests at all. Even if she was supposedly black, even though she's clearly not black, even if she was black, she didn't have no black first agenda. She wasn't for black people at all. She went on her way to lock black people up. And we literally spent like a whole decade informing our people on my platforms, Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced and Frontline Black News, how bad news that broad is. So y'all tethers, y'all need to get over the butt hurt. Your girl lost. Y'all not stopping nothing FBA is doing. All y'all doing is trying to stand in the way of our progress. So y'all living up to the tether name because tethers come over here to undermine us. Not all those in the diaspora are tethers, but those that are need to be checked. And since y'all not checking them, we gonna check them. So somebody keep asking me, well, how is FBA gonna get reparations passed through Congress? The same way money got passed to Ukraine, money got passed to damn Israel, the same way these illegal immigrants got money passed to them. That's how. Uh, it's just hilarious to me that these people they have nothing
Yeah, like
better to do with.
when they do that, basically that's just another form of pocket watch. And I always say that we are some of the most pocket watched people on the planet. They always want to know where we are doing with our money. Meanwhile, we're trying to get reparations. You're not questioning all those other people and what they're doing with your tax-paying dollars.
Right. They don't have no smoke for them. They don't have no issue with them.
That's who you should. That's whose pockets you should be watching. If you want to go ahead and go that route.
Yeah, and then they always talk about reparations, and it's like, what have y'all done in the past 40 years for reparations? We've done more for reparations in 6 years than y'all done in 40 plus years. We actually forced reparations into political lexicon. Prior to that, it was a joke. They were just laughing at it, like, oh, that'll never happen. Now these same people are like, well, do I qualify? No, you don't qualify. You're not of the lineage, so you're not going to qualify. And I noticed there's a lot of these people that don't qualify that's speaking on our reparations claim, like, go sue your goddamn colonizer. Like the brother was saying, they have CARICOM. They got all these other damn reparations movements throughout the Caribbean, throughout the diaspora. Why are y'all so focused on us? Sue your goddamn colonizers. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say, Torian. I appreciate you having me on. Y'all check out Frontline Black News later on. Peace.
Peace. All right, next up we got Don P. What's going on?
Hey, nephew. I needed to come up here so you can have that trifecta.
Okay.
I'm 60 years old as well.
Okay.
So me, Miss Nisi, and the other caller. We've seen a lot. We have seen a lot. And for those of us who were not involved in the government employee, shall we say, we've been through a lot. Because you think of the largest generation in American history, and they were right before us. So by the time we came of age to get careers going and things of that nature, there were no jobs. And it doesn't matter how much paper you stack up as a Black person in this country, the opportunities still aren't there because they don't believe that you could achieve these things. So you always get asked up, like, do you really have a degree? Do you really have a master's? Shit like that. And then they turn around and tell you you're overqualified.
I hated seeing that. And even when I was like back then, when I was, I'm saying back then, like it was that long ago, like when I was much like in my earlier 20s, and I always see that overqualified, and I would always ask, what does that even mean? So you want someone that's underqualified?
Exactly.
There.
See,
I know what it is. I think it's for the training, like for the training purposes, I suppose.
No. What it is this. There's a couple things. One, you're not a good business person. Because if I'm overqualified and I'm going to this level to get that salary as opposed to the one higher, that's a good deal. Mm-hmm. The other thing is the person, their hiring manager, who's hiring you, he's afraid because he looks at your physical credentials, then he looks at your work history and know that you kicked ass every place you went. He's afraid for his job. And I had that experience in the last company I worked for. And that motherfucker actually had the nerve to ask me, do I have a degree, after I've been kicking their ass. Walked into the industry, didn't know anything about it, figured out my strategy, went in, start kicking their ass. And in 8 months, I was the employee of the year.
Wow.
And I was off 1 quarter because of hospitalization. So you tell me. But this is nothing new. In 1959, Michael Harrington published a book called The Other America. In there is a chapter about the weaponization of immigration. The chapter's called If You're Black, Get Back. These people were brought here after the Industrial Revolution. These people were brought here to replace us. They were brought here to work the fields, and now they've moved up the ladder to where the point where, you know, they're doing construction and things of that nature. But I need you to understand something about us. There's something very specific about us as quote unquote Black people who have had a myriad of names given to us throughout the generations. You know, we're back to Black, but before that we were African American, but before African American we were Black, and before Black we were Negro. And I love the Negro thing because, you know, if you're a student of history, it takes you back to who you are. You are a special people above all the peoples of the world. You are a special people. You Black people who are former descendants of formerly enslaved people. You are a special people. This is why all this is happening to you, and you specifically. You want to talk about these tethers and how they come in and they move into position? They're melanated, but they're not of the same bloodline as us. And that's what makes us special. And so when they went over to Africa, you think they just went over there and just grabbed people? No, these folks have a history with us. They know exactly where we were in Africa when we got kicked out of Spain and then Portugal. They knew exactly where they put us. They also knew who we were. We're craftsmen. We were the government. We were the builders. We were the jewelers. We were everything. We were skilled people. That's why they came and took us to build this goddamn country. See, we're very special. And you know what? I'll say this and I'll land, because I'm sorry, I gotta admit it. I have a guilty pleasure. I so enjoy watching the roundups. I wish there was ICE TV so I could watch it 24/7.
like a streaming platform.
Man, I love it. I love it, especially like you remember in Red Chicago, when that damn Southern Bordarian was talking about no more for you, no more for you. No, no more for you. Get your ass out. Get your ass out. But let me tell you something, and this is what I was going to land on. The script says, our scripts say that in the end, before Babylon is destroyed, that men are going to be returning to their countries. And what are we watching? We're watching men return to their countries. And I land my plane there.
Appreciate you coming up, Don P. We always going to get, this is another reason why I'm glad that we have our elders over here. We always going to get a good lesson, a good life lesson from our elders over here. Can't discard them all. But shout out to Don P. And okay, Samuel is going to be the last person. I already unpinned the link because we're already over an hour. Samuel, you are rounding out the panel. What's going on?
Hey, Torian, what's going on? How you doing? B1, can you hear me?
I can hear you in B1.
Yeah, I know I'm only got 2 minutes now, Torian, because you said it's only 2 minutes per person.
With the sound off Saturday, you have a 2-topic maximum. This one's not timed like the regular stream is. You can only go off on 2 topics. That's the minimum. I mean the maximum.
Okay.
So it's not a race against time today.
Okay. First topic is what are your thoughts about the recent uh, school shooting in Tennessee, and how they're trying to say that Candace Owens is pretty much partially because of her influence and things like that. But some people are trying to say it's not necessarily right for us to be blaming Candace for things like that, because, you know, a person can just take words, you know, to a certain extreme and this and that. And, you know, I just want to know your thoughts on that, Torian.
Well, you are going. It's funny you bring that up because you will find out my thoughts about that next Friday.
Okay, but I literally was just.
I'm gonna do a live about that next Friday because I wanted to wait and see, since it's fresh, to wait and see what else comes out about it. But let me just say this right now: what I have heard so far, it blows my mind. I think this might be one of the worst cases of self-hate that I have ever seen in my life, or at least as far as me doing these commentaries. And I've talked about a lot of people who got some self-hate issues, but this one right here, this is a special case. This is crazy. And I think what got me is the fact of how old he was. He was only 17. We're not talking about somebody who's in their 20s or in their 30s or 40s, you know, because usually when we think about those type of people who we talk about, they're adults. This was a kid, a minor, with these thoughts floating through their head, and it's wild. But next Friday, or this upcoming Friday, that's going to be the topic. I've actually started gathering articles and stuff like that, and I'm gonna continue to do that throughout the week to see what else comes out. But yeah, and it's still stuff coming out. Like, it was one thing that came out recently where they said allegedly he had some kind of connection to that girl who did that mass shooting at the Christian school in Wisconsin. You remember that one last month in December? They said that they said they allegedly were talking to each other like in them forums or something like that. So that's something that just came out.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you said that too, Torian, because, you know, it's evidence coming out that she was influenced and inspired by Candace Owens. And some people are trying to say, you know, they don't think that that's right. And, you know, just how when kids get messed with and bothered at school, you know, it can get them to that point. But I don't know, Torian. I think.
Now I know why. Because remember, Candace Owens was supposed to go over to Australia to do some kind of event, and they had banned her, and they like blocked her visa or something like that. And then it also came out she got banned in New Zealand. Well, I also found out, on top of the reason I gave in that live or in that video of her being banned in New Zealand, in case y'all are unaware, some person in New Zealand committed a mass shooting. And when they had their manifesto, she was mentioned in that too as a person that they looked to or was inspired by, or someone they listened to, much like this recent one that just happened in Tennessee. So now I said, oh, now that might be another reason why New Zealand blocked her from coming over there too. And the crazy part about what happened in Tennessee, it happened in Antioch, Tennessee. She also lives there. She lives in Nashville.
Yeah, and, you know, Torian, like, not only in but now there are other countries that are really considering like banning Candace Owens from like coming there. Canada is heavily considering it. I think Ireland. I think she might be put on the list for Ireland, and they even talking about her, you know, even losing her British citizenship because, you know, her husband and things like that. They're heavily considering, like, you know, taking away her citizenship.
Well, hey, she would have only bought it on herself. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that next Friday. That's gonna be next Friday's live stream on the 31st. So make sure y'all are locked in for that.
Yeah, and another topic, Torian, just come out today that they have audio footage of DJ academics trying to I don't really want to.
Yeah, you don't say it. We already know. It's funny because Cosma was up here earlier, and that's what he went off on about. Yeah, I already saw it. I saw the video itself. I saw someone did a commentary that I'm subscribed to. They talked about it. That's how I first heard about it. and then Cosma sent it to the group chat we're in, and I listened to it, and then DJ Academics was trying to do a cop out or try to quote unquote give context behind what it was. I'm like, the context you gave did not make you look any better than the creep you already sound like. But yeah, that was some disturbing stuff right there.
Yeah, it was. And it's just a lot. And we only ended January, Torian. And I know like and I know those were the two topics, but one more thing. How do you feel about let's like just last month, King Randall and Maz Teray had went on Tim Walsh's radio show, trying to criticize what's his name? Not it what's his name from Chicago? They did the movie on him.
Fred Hampton.
Yes, Fred Hampton. They literally went on Fred Hampton's birthday. On Tim Walsh's radio show, because Tim Walsh is based in Chicago, right? And try to say how this and that, and how and Fred Hampton Jr. spoke out and told both of them to just keep his dad's name out of his mouth.
Yes,
and I kind of felt,
I said Fred Hampton had more testicular fortitude in his pinky than all the ones that have something to say negative about him. They're doing, it's so crazy. A lot of the people that we held up in such high regard, notice how they're starting to attack them lately. Like, for instance, that's why I didn't believe when people were talking about Dr. King, the usual suspects anyway, in the light that they did it. We know why they did it, because they always go back to the I have a dream, and they only focus on the part of don't focus on the color of the skin, but the content of the character. That's the only part of that speech that they keep talking about. They don't talk about anything else in the speech. They don't even talk about anything else after it. But notice lately, a lot of them have started to say very negative things about him. I was actually on Twitter earlier, and KG had reposted something from somebody who started putting down all these very false things about Dr. King that they quote unquote put out there. And then when you look at the dates of who put it, of where the stuff came out and who what organization did it, I said this stuff was falsely put out there by a certain 3-letter organization, and that 3-letter organization at the time was being ran by J. Edna Hoover, a person who staunchly did not like Dr. King. This is the same guy that had him wiretapped.
Oh, so yeah, COINTELPRO.
So when you put it all together, I said, I don't believe none of that, especially coming from J. Edna Hoover. For those of y'all out there, put it together why I call him J. Edna and not J. Edgar.
I know, Tori. I know why.
If you know, you know.
Yeah,
that was it.
I know. Tori, and I'm still waiting for you to do the buck breaking on either Maz Teray or King Randall, because now a lot of stuff that these guys have been posting lately and things like that, it's to me, it's just coming off like it's really just a front from them to try to portray like they're all about black progression, but then they're conservatives and libertarians at the same time too. So I'm still kind of waiting for those buck breakings for you on either one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know definitely, because, especially particularly with because I know you're more, Tariq Nasheed, like I know you rock with him more. And then the things between him and Maz Teray, it definitely, like I know like that you definitely would not, now that we know about Maz Teray. So, I'm still waiting for a buck breaking on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. It's always good for you to let me share, Torian.
All right. Appreciate you coming up. All right. Shout out to Sammy for coming up, and Sammy was the last one to come up and speak. This was a good sound off Saturday. Had a lot of participation. I think this might have been one of the best ones that I've done since I started doing this back in November. Of course, the next Sound Off Saturday will be at the end of February, the last Saturday, which I believe is the 22nd. So that'll be the next one. But tomorrow we will be doing a midday live. And I'm gonna say it like this: the midday live tomorrow at 12 noon is going to be a triple P. I'll let y'all hang on to that to see if y'all can guess who is going to be talking about. It's actually not a. It's actually it's not a new entry. It's actually I've done a triple P on this person a couple of times already. But what's one more or a couple more if it applies? But shout out to Ozzy Edwards for the 10. I appreciate you. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, be warm, and be one.